Hey everyone, it's Emily Hemingway with TechSTL. We are the Tech Council of Greater St. Louis. Joined today with one of the companies that we are most proud of here in St. Louis, Benson Hill. I've got the co-founder and CEO, Matt Crisp, here today to tell us about some of their recent expansion into international markets with their new soy protein line. So I want to thank you, Matt, first of all, for joining us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Emily.
So you guys have had an interesting journey, 10 years to here. About a year ago, you went public. Can you talk to us a little bit about who you are and what the journey has looked like over the past year?
Sure. So Benson Hill is a food tech company. We're vertically integrated across the agri-food supply chain, and we're a tech company at our heart, at our core. So we invest in and have advanced a technology platform that we call Crop OS, short for Crop Operating System. And it allows us to develop better seed through breeding and CRISPR technology that ultimately results in better food and feed ingredients. And so when we say better, what we mean is more nutritious or nutrient dense, more sustainable, more flavorful. And so that has attributes that the end consumer or the end user actually desires, rather than just focus on quantity and yield, which is what the principal focus has been in the agri-food system and on seed development historically.
That's great. And it seems like you guys are in a great place to be able to grow that with all of the partners that we have here. Recently, you guys have announced some new partnerships that you have established overseas and new markets that you're also accessing. Can you talk to us more about what the opportunity is in Europe, as well as the demand that there is for your new product?
Certainly. Well, I'll start and say that St. Louis is a great ecosystem. It's a great hub for us to advance a business that does have international reach, because what we're producing with the U.S. farmer is something that we can, to your point, export to new markets and new markets that really do care about and are willing to pay for non-GMO, traceable, more sustainable ingredients. In the case you're describing or alluding to in feed, in animal feed, in aquaculture feed in particular. So we just announced a partnership with a company called BioMar. This is actually a company in Northern Europe that is one of the largest feed suppliers into the aquaculture space. And so what we do is we supply them soybean feed that comes from soybeans that we've bred to have really high protein content, so it's nutrient dense. And it's also got a profile with low anti-nutrients. So it actually improves like gastrointestinal health and eliminates some waste as well. And so when we do that, we very interestingly can actually get rid of some of the processing that's traditionally required for these plant-based protein ingredients in fish food. And as you might know, fish eat mostly are fed fish, other fish, and we want to get away from that and preserve ocean environments and the ecosystem there. So there's a movement towards more plant-based protein ingredients in Benson Hill, and our work domestically here happens to really position us well to service that new market.
That's great. Well, I have to say, we have all really enjoyed watching the growth that you guys have had over the past year. As someone, I'm in tech, but I'm not in food tech. Learning more about what it is that you guys do. Can you explain why aquaculture is so excited about your new product?
Right, sure, I'm happy to. So when I say that we can reduce processing, I'll explain how this works today. Is usually you might take a soybean and you would take the oil out, and then it would have to go through a very water and energy intensive processing step to concentrate that soy meal, all right, essentially to make it what's called a protein concentrate. And we might see this oftentimes on food labels that we eat, for alternative burgers or dairy, or we might even see it in like protein bars or nutrition bars that we consume. Well, the same thing is used to feed fish. And so when we go through that extra processing step, we're burning up a lot of CO2. There's a lot of water intensity to that. There's also a lot of cost to that. And so when we say, all right, if we go back to the beginning and back to the seed in the field, and with our farmer partners grow a crop that's already got really high concentrations of that protein and also has a low anti-nutrient profile, we can actually just take the bean and get the oil out of it and then move it right into that market. So we don't have to go through all those extra steps. And so when I say more sustainable, that's not just a buzzword. It's actually quantifiable, 70+% reduction in water, 89+% reduction in CO2 emissions. And that's something that, especially in Europe, is a really, really high priority for the industries that we're targeting.
Absolutely. It sounds like a great market for you guys.
It really is. And I tell you, the U.S. farmers that here in the Midwest that we get a chance to engage with, they're also really excited because this is a new market. North America farmers and non-GMO farmers haven't been exporting to this market for decades. All of this currently comes from Brazil and South America. And so this is a new, exciting opportunity, a high value opportunity where we can create more value and actually bring that back to the farm. So our farmer partners are enjoying more profitability per acre. Our customers are enjoying as good or better product for the same or less cost. And we at Benson Hill can have a nice margin profile in the middle.
It seems like a win-win-win. That's amazing. Well, so you talk a lot about, obviously the innovation of this, but that you guys do integrate technology into this process. Can you talk about how tech is part of this and what that really means in the work that you guys are doing there?
Certainly. So Crop OS, as I mentioned, short for Crop Operating System, really sits at the center of data, plant, and food science. And what it does is it uses data as an underpinning to help us essentially create blueprints for how might we produce, how might we breed for better and better and better crop varieties that can supply these types of value propositions to customers, not just in Northern Europe, of course, but across the globe, and in a variety of different industries. And so the technology is enabling us to create these products, these varieties of crops, but ultimately turn them into something that's got really valuable properties for those end users. And then the data feedback loop is essentially informing in a really virtuous cycle how we can get smarter and smarter and use AI and other data techniques, to understand how best and most efficient to produce these better varieties over time. So data really is at the heart of all of this. And then it's pulling information, or I should say pulling data and turning it into information from across the entire agri-food value chain because we're vertically integrated.
That's so exciting. As a data junkie, I love to see all the ways in which you guys are integrating it to make more sustainable products. So that's really incredible. Can you talk about what's also on the horizon? So what are we expecting to see over the next year from Benson Hill?
Sure. So the three principal areas that we're focused on right now are human food ingredients, specifically protein ingredients. We also are doing a lot of work in oils. So, soybean is an oil seed crop as well. And so we produce a high oleic, low linolenic soy oil. The simple way I like to explain that sometimes is it's got the smoke point of a peanut oil, the cost point of a vegetable oil, but the health profile of an olive oil. And that's a really great combination because, again, we're producing something that's not just more sustainable in this case, but also more healthy. And we've partnered with Schnucks locally, local grocery chain, and throughout their stores in the Midwest, they utilize this Very soybean oil, which is the name brand of that. So that's an exciting market category we're continuing to grow in. And then the third one we just talked about is aquaculture, where we're seeing a really swell of demand in Northern Europe in particular for the salmon market. But we also have partnered in North America with a really progressive trout producer called Riverence. And we announced that last year. And so these trout and salmon opportunities are ones for which I think we're really just at the tip of the iceberg.
Well, very exciting. For those who want to find out more information, what's the best way for them to get access to you guys and to stay in contact?
Well, I'd say there's two. One is bensonhill.com. We've got a really, really, I think, well done investor relations website that's got a lot of info videos that talk about the technology and who we are, our culture, our identity, what our products are, and how they're serving various markets that we just talked about. And then the other one for any of our potential farmer partners out there is bensonhillfarmers.com, because we really do have partner relationships with growers. And that goes from Ohio to Nebraska, from Minnesota down to Arkansas. And so we, across 13 different states, contract with our farmer partners to grow our proprietary soybean crops such that they can enjoy more profitability per acre and help service these really, really interesting market opportunities.
What a resource. Well, Matt, I want to thank you for coming out today, and I'm really excited to see where you guys go with all these new opportunities. I'm sure we'll see Benson Hill in the news probably very soon with even more announcements. So thanks for your time.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Thanks everyone for watching and joining us here at TechSTL. We've got more great interviews of St. Louis CEOs coming up soon. So we'll see you then.